the most likely scenario by far where the Russians use nuclear weapons is where they're losing. And in 2022, when the Ukrainians were doing very well and the Russians were surrendering territory in Ukraine, I think that was a very dangerous time. Because if the Russians were to lose in Ukraine, I believe they would use nuclear weapons. The Russians view what's going on in Ukraine as an existential threat. Many people in the West refuse to accept the argument NATO expansion into Ukraine is an existential threat. But you want to understand, the Russians think it's an existential threat, and it's what they think that matters. If they're losing in Ukraine, that's when we really have to be worried about nuclear use and the possibility of escalation up the nuclear ladder. Russia's going to win the war. And if I do not think you're going to get a negotiated settlement, you're going to get a frozen conflict. Once that frozen conflict sets in, the West, mainly the United States, will go to great lengths to undermine Russia's position in Ukraine, and Russia itself are going to go to great lengths to cause trouble in Europe. We're going to have this nasty competition between Russia on one side, Ukraine and the West on the other side.
But not necessarily on the battlefield.
It'll be a frozen conflict.